There are many ways traders allow their imagination to get carried away when they're observing the market and interacting with the market, which causes them to doubt and hesitate or even get confused about what they should be doing. In this trading psychology lesson, I'll provide some insights into this mechanism. We'll see how you can relax it and just loosen up so your trading performance can start reflecting that heightened level of composure and self-mastery. So traders will often find imaginary reasons to do or avoid doing certain things, which end up sapping their performance because now they're not sticking with their time-tested trading process. This act of overthinking, of over-intellectualizing things, of rationalizing things, is often related to an intolerance of uncertainty. And I've discussed this in another video. You'll find the link above or below if you want a little bit more context on that. But here, let's zoom in a little bit on this intolerance of uncertainty. Let's sort of discuss the physical manifestations of that intolerance of uncertainty, because that's really important to understand. And then we'll see how you can stop it, or at very least greatly reduce these symptoms, and by the same token improve your trading psychology, which will then have positive effects on your trading performance. So first, when there's an intolerance of uncertainty, you have this feeling of being stuck, of being unable to move forward despite a trade meeting or your predefined criteria. So essentially you're hesitating, you're crippled by fear, and you're finding excuses to legitimize that fear. Oh, the Fed's about to release a statement, so I better not get into a trade right here. Oh, this candlestick looks weak. I'll wait for another confirmation. And like that, you keep finding excuses. You keep waiting for confirmations after confirmations after confirmations until the move is basically over. And then you scratch your head. How did I miss this move? Well, you hesitated. That's why. So that's the first symptom, I would say, of your intolerance of uncertainty. It's hesitation. Second, say you manage to place a trade. Now you might be inclined to tweak it unnecessarily because you're updating your market assumptions on the go, and this is something you're supposed to be doing as a discretionary trader. But there's a big difference. There's a big difference between tweaking a trade based on emotions and just some random changes of heart, and tweaking it based on actual real experience and expertise. And we'll get into that later. Third, when you're intolerant of uncertainty, you generally have this overall feeling of unease when you're in the market, when you put your hard-earned money to work, right, by placing a trade. So you're just tense overall. You've got a lot of restless energy. Your thoughts are racing, and even though you might not be making trading errors or anything like that, this isn't what you would call a pleasant experience. So all these different thoughts and feelings and emotions happen because there's a part of you that thinks maybe this trade will turn out to be a loss. Maybe this trade will turn out to be a loss. And again, this is a reflection of your intolerance of uncertainty. That there's really an intolerance of uncertainty there that's pulling the trigger. And for you, that trading loss might mean a couple of things. First, it could mean that your your wife or husband is not going to be too happy about this. It might mean that they'll think that you're gambling away your hard-earned money. It might mean that you're going to be under financial duress. Or simply it could mean that it could ignite within you an intense feeling of not getting anywhere in this space, right? Of not having any control over your destiny. And so on and so forth. And so these causes, they have effects. They lead to your mind bubbling up with more what if questions and just more overall feelings of unease and anxiety. And these imaginary obstacles, by the way, I'm not saying that the feelings are imaginary. What I'm saying is that the reasons, the mental obstacles are generally imaginary. Well, they prevent you from being consistent with your time-tested trading process. And that lack of consistency, unfortunately, that lack of behavioral consistency is what detracts your trading performance. Okay? That lack of behavioral consistency is what detracts your trading performance. So if you're being completely honest with yourself, and I hope you are, the real reason why you're overthinking and over-intellectualizing and over-rationalizing your trading process, which should be very simple to follow. The reason why you're doing that, and why you're doing these things, is that you fear failure, and that uncertainty makes you really restless. And so coming up with these machinations and rationalizations allow your brain to retain a certain level of safety. You feel in control, you feel in the know. But it's all imagined, all right? It's really all imagined. Your mind is trying to find reasons. It's trying hard to find reasons to maintain a sense of certainty and control because it dislikes uncertainty so damn much that it considers it a survival threat. And this is baked into the very fabric of our being, this bias against uncertainty. I mean, its roots stretch through time to the very beginning of our evolutionary journey. Look, this isn't a bad thing. Our intolerance of uncertainty isn't a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. As a species, this intolerance of uncertainty has led us to a better understanding of our world. It's behind every technological progress that we've made. It's a very, very powerful thing when properly directed. Very important. And for most traders, that intolerance of uncertainty isn't properly directed. What typically happens is that our intolerance of uncertainty generates all sorts of trading errors that sap our performance because our minds are geared towards eliminating uncertainty in the market. We're desperately trying to make money on this next trade and the next one and the next one and so on. And it doesn't work like that. Trading doesn't work like that. In a short to medium term, the market is full of uncertainties. This is not me, by the way. Serious academic books have been written on that. All right? But uncertainty doesn't mean that you can't consistently profit from the market. It just means that if you're coming into the market blindly thinking that you're going to make, 10R in terms of reward multiple for every 1R in terms of risk multiple with a 95% win rate or anything close to that, well, you're going to have a very hard time as a trader. Your expectations are really out of line with how the market expresses itself in the short to medium term. What you really need instead is a probabilistic framework. The market hands you opportunities coupled with risk. This is what it does, all right? And this is why failure and losses and uncertainty must be fully embraced. This is purely and simply the name of the game here, all right? There's just no way around this. Uncertainty, failures, losses must be fully embraced as a trader. So meaning you have to place your bets, you have to take risks, and you have to wait and see whether that trade, those ideas are profitable or not. And if they're not, you keep trying. And if they are, you keep trying. That's it. And if they're not, you see what you're learning from those experiences, and you keep moving forward again and again and again. That's the mindset you have to adopt as a trader. So in essence, what I'm saying is that you must turn your intolerance of uncertainty on its head. You must turn it on its head. And instead of having that intolerance of uncertainty geared towards short-term outcomes, you must find a way to orient it towards long-term outcomes. All right? Meaning you're intolerant of uncertainty in the long run, in terms of your long-term trading performance. And what this does is that it forces you to be behaviorally consistent now, right? In the short term, so that your long-term outcomes can start to reflect that consistency. Now, I don't want to ramble too much and lose you. Let's go back to the core of this lesson. Here's how to stop the overthinking and use your intolerance of uncertainty to your advantage. First, it's important to develop some basic level of awareness. You must come to recognize when you're overthinking, when you're using imaginary reasons and or obstacles, right, as an excuse to not stick with your winning trading process. And the way you develop that fine-tuned level of awareness on purpose, is via meditation. 10-20 minutes a day, that's it. That's enough, to develop that quote-unquote awareness muscle. You just sit there, you observe your thoughts and your feelings objectively, right, and non-judgmentally. And when you notice that you get carried away by thinking, mentally detach yourself from the thinking process and again, observe it. Observe it objectively. 10-20 minutes per day, that's enough to once again begin exercising that awareness muscle that is so central to proper trading. All right, and this greater level of awareness will positively impact your performance in the long run, guaranteed. Now, second, you must confront the underlying uncertainty that is causing the trading errors. So you must learn what uncertainty is. You must look at it directly. You must see how it manifests itself in the market, what it means in terms of the distribution of trade outcomes in a short to medium term, that is. You must learn what it means in terms of your trading approach as well, in terms of your expectations also. And finally, and this is the third point, you must always ask yourself the question, am I projecting onto the market what I want to see happen or not see happen? Or am I looking at it objectively? Meaning, what is truly happening in the market, independent of what I think or how I feel? This is the core of it. As said earlier, there's a big difference between tweaking a trade based on some random changes of heart and tweaking it based on a clear framework that's actually backed by real experience and expertise. So ask yourself the question, am I just projecting onto the market what I want to see happen or not see happen? Or am I looking at it objectively? And then, very important, be decisive. When you make a decision, stick with it. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. Whether the outcome is favorable or unfavorable, keep practicing that decisiveness skill. Keep reinforcing that decisiveness muscle. And always remember, be flexible in what you expect, but be decisive about what you do. So those are some things that you can do right now to stop, or at the very least, slow down the racing thoughts, the overthinking, the overanalyzing, the over-intellectualizing, and this will, immediately impact your trading. This is a non-exhaustive list, of course, and I'll certainly discuss other ways to improve your composure amidst uncertainty in the future in future videos. But this right here will get you started. Look, being a trader requires that embrace of uncertainty, all right? And embracing uncertainty requires a lot of courage, a lot of courage. You have to be willing to try despite the fact that there's risk and uncertainty. And you have to continually put yourself out there and keep trying over and over and over again. Look, you can't do this well. You can't trade well until you've fully, and I mean fully accepted and embraced the fact that any trade can result in a loss. Any trade can result in a loss. Because that's what the market does. If you think about it, it hands you opportunities coupled with risk. Those two are intertwined, risk and opportunity. They ride together and die together, to use a line from Bad Boys. So work on that, keep trying, and remember, success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts.